Hey yo, LAZ, man, if you new to the channel, make sure you subscribe. Hit that bell so you don't miss no new episodes that I drop. You heard? Help me get to that 60,000 subscribers. I'm almost there. You heard? But I'm in the struggle, baby. I'm in the struggle. Help me out. You heard? If you new to the channel, make sure you go to that new and recent episodes playlist where you can watch the last 200 episodes that I dropped here on this channel. Shout out to the bro Cell, always coming through the channel, blessing us with some fire stories and memoirs. You heard? Shout out to the whole Queens. If you was there for the DVD era, leave a comment. You heard? If you look closely, you can see Z-Boy was out there, baby. You heard? But yeah, man, shout out to the whole New York City, NC, DC, Cali, Jersey, everybody that's tuned in heavily, man. You heard? Comment gang, I need y'all to tear this up with about 200 comments in the first hour. That's a fact. You heard? We trying to pop that algorithm back up. They hating on your boy Z-Boy. And if you wonder why I got a lot of obsessed groupies hating on me, it's because I drop content like this, man. They just can't do it, man. They can't do what I do, man.
The way I met Smurf and Domination, my son was spitting too, and he was fucking with them. So I started fucking with them. And I was out in North Carolina, but I came back up to New York for a second. And when I was up there, that's how I met them. I remember the first day I met them, I pulled up on them in the car with my son. And they was outside on Guy Brewer, and my son called them over there. He was like, "Yo, this my pops." Blah, blah, blah. So that's how I met Smurf. And right after I pulled off from them, the hip hop police followed me all the way to the hotel. Like I was just going to get a little room, cause like I said, I was just coming up there like visiting and shit. So I was going to get a room, and the hip hop police followed me from Guy Brewer all the way to the hotel. So that's how I knew that, shit was going on with them. But they ain't do nothing. They ain't pull me or nothing. But they followed me to the hotel. So anyway, like I said, once he introduced me to him, I started hanging out with them niggas. Like, you know what I'm saying? I used to go with them niggas to do shows, radio stations, and all type of shit. Like the first time I went around to the nigga crib, after I met him, my son took me to the crib, like, yo, they want me to come. We going to the studio. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna take you. So I went around there with him. And that's when I met Domination. And, they was cool as hell. All the niggas they used to fuck with. It was Smurf, Domination, True, Nervous, damn. My little nigga Ant was good people too. Me and him like became, to me, kind of like the coolest out of all of them. They used to run with this other little nigga Drama. But it was like a nice little mob of them and shit. I'm probably missing some of the names, but it ain't because these niggas wasn't relevant. It's just, that's how my memory is. But anyway, it was a mob of these niggas that I met. So, like I said, I started chilling with them niggas and whatnot, and we had a show. He had a show coming up. There was a bunch of shit that happened in between here, but there was a show coming up. I'm gonna tell you about this, what happened with the show. He had a show coming up that Flex put him on. Like, he was gonna host this show for Flex. Flex put him on his show. He was promoting, he was gonna do the hosting the show for Flex. But anyway, Flex wasn't like putting him on his shit on the radio and none of that shit. You know how when Flex promotes something, he gonna like tell you who hosting the show. But at this time, Smurf had a whole lot of shit going on. It was after he left him with 50 and whatnot, and 50 sent them back to the hood. So he was kind of like bad business to some people. But he felt like, you put me on this shit to host your shit. You announcing it on the radio. You mentioning all of the stuff that's supposed to be happening, but you ain't mentioning my name. So, Smurf felt some type of way about that. So he was like, when I get to the show, I'ma holler at Flex about that shit. And he done a few interviews in between there. And he was telling people like, yeah, he let it be known that he felt some type of way about that. And that when he saw Flex at the show, he was gonna like talk to him about that. But in a more aggressive manner, he was upset about that. So anyway, the show came and we went to the show. We went there probably like 20 deep. And Before we left though, like Smurf pulled everybody together and made an announcement because the nigga Nervous that I just mentioned, Nervous just once he get a few drinks in him, you know, he ready to pop on anything. So Smurf told this nigga before we left, he was like, yo, he was telling everybody, but you know, everybody knew he was talking to. He was like, look, we going to this show to host this shit. We not going in here to be on no bullshit, no extra shit or none of that. So I'm gonna let y'all niggas know now. When we do this show, if anybody in here acts stupid on our end and niggas start tearing their ass up, we gonna sit back and let niggas tear your ass up for about a minute, maybe two, before we jump in and do something. A minute or two is a long time to get your ass whipped by niggas tearing you up. So we laughed at that shit, but you know, he was just trying to let it be known we got to get on some business shit. All that shit associating like drama and bullshit with your name don't get you no money in the industry. So niggas like, all right, we good. So we go to the show. When we pull up, we holding and whatnot, but we leave all of that shit outside. When we get to the show, like I said, it's only like maybe 20 of us. When we get to the show, while we standing outside, it's like a glass. It's in Queens too. It's like a glass window where it's tinted, where you can see inside, but you got to put your face all the way up to it. And while we standing there, we could see niggas is inside with their face to the window looking out there. I guess they was waiting for us to come in, or waiting for us to show up, thinking maybe we probably wasn't gonna show. I don't know, but shit, we showing. But anyway, we outside, so they patting us down, frisking us. Next thing you know, the bodyguard or the nigga at the door, the bouncer and shit, talking about all of y'all can't get in. And he was like, nah, this is my whole entourage. You know what I'm saying? That shit been cleared with Flex ahead of time. They was like, nah, Flex said only you and I think like 2 or 3 people. Anybody else beyond that gotta pay. So this is like the first sign, because Flex did tell him he was good with that, whoever he brings. He knew the type of shit that was going on with Smurf and Domination and them as far as 50 and shit. So, you know, he said, you good, bring your peoples. So this was like kind of like the first sign that he was gonna be on some bullshit. So anyway, we say fuck it, we'll pay. So we pay to get in the spot, and we get in there. We just noticed there's some people in there, but it's a mob of niggas. When I say a mob, I'm telling you, it's probably like about 50 niggas all off to one side in the back. And we noticed that, you know what I'm saying? And it was some of the dudes that was at the window, you know what I'm saying? We could tell once we started getting in, they went over there and started telling niggas like, yo, da-da-da, we see them niggas whispering, and all of them niggas are standing back over there looking at us as we coming in. Like they trying to see how many niggas coming with us. So what we did, we told some niggas like, yo, y'all chill for a second, don't come in yet. Like, space the time out in between us coming in. And when we go in, niggas split up, don't all everybody come together. So we ain't want them niggas to know how many niggas was moving with us or who was with us. So anyway, we get in there and they got music playing and whatnot. I went with Smurf. Me, Smurf, Domination, and I think True was together. So the host, the dude that was like, you know, the little announcer and whatnot, he called Smurf up to the stage. So Smurf go up there and we go up to the stage with him. So he was like, yeah, this is gonna be the host of the show, da-da-da. So Smurf started talking, da-da-da, talking and, you know, hyping the place up. And the energy from them saying, everybody else was like, you know, they into it. But the energy from the dudes that I told you about that was standing up, they just standing there looking like ice grilling and shit. So that was nothing. It's regular shit. So we ain't say nothing. So next thing you know, these niggas start coming to the stage and getting on the stage. And it's a mob of them. Some of these niggas spit, you know what I'm saying? I think they had it was gonna be like a battle or some shit. I forgot what the show was about, but I think some of these niggas were supposed to be on stage that night, but not at this time. They just started rushing the stage. So it's a mob of these niggas on the stage. And we still there. It's nothing. You know what I'm saying? They behind us. And them niggas, one of them niggas got the mic from the nigga that was hosting it. And Smurf was screaming Gorilla Gang, because that's the shit that we used to be saying at that time. It was Gorilla Gang, Gangsta Flip Records. So them other niggas, the nigga that grabbed the mic, he started screaming their shit. Like GIV, that was their shit, getting it in bricks. And it was the Edgemere niggas. So he's screaming that, and Smurf was saying, Gorilla Gang, and he was like, GIB. It was like they was going back and forth for a second. So Smurf was like, yo, where y'all niggas from? And he was like, Edgemere. And Smurf was like, oh, I fucks with Edgemere. You know what I'm saying? He said, I got a mob of niggas that I fuck with at Edgemere and shit. So, you know what I'm saying? It ain't really go off. It was still a little tension right there, but ain't nothing really happened. So the host came back because the stage was getting rowdy as hell. A lot of our niggas came to the stage too, thinking some shit was going to go on. So the stage started getting so packed that the bouncer dude came over. He was like, yo, y'all got to clear the stage. Y'all got to clear the stage. So Smurf thinking he talking about the rest of the niggas. So nobody is really moving. So he was like, hey, yo, I need all of y'all to clear the stage. I need y'all to clear the stage. So Smurf was like, you talking about us too? Because I'm the host. And he was like, yeah, give it some time. You know what I'm saying? Let us get this shit organized and then you can come back. So Smurf was like, all right. So he was like, come on, y'all. So we bounce off the stage. We go to the back and we just standing there looking. Now we kind of linked together. It's like all of us back there. So next thing you know, the Flex never showed up. Flex wasn't there, so Smurf never had no chance to holler at him. But next thing you know, they're not clearing the stage. The bouncer nigga is letting these niggas have their way on stage. So that shit got Smurf feeling some type of way. He got tight as a bitch behind. He's like, yo, what the fuck? And out of nowhere, he just started pushing through the crowd, going back to the stage. So all of us mobbed behind him, and we went back to the stage. So Smurf went straight to the bouncer nigga. He's like, yo, what the fuck? Like, I'm the nigga hosting this shit, and you put us off the stage, but you not getting these niggas off the stage. And the bouncer nigga was like, yo, calm the fuck down. So Smurf was like, what the fuck you talking to? He was like, I'm talking to you, like, calm down. So it was like 3 of these niggas. It's 3 big bouncer niggas, but that shit don't mean nothing. They was about to get the business. So Smurf was like, I'm not calming down shit. Like, you scared of these niggas or something? You make me and my niggas get off the stage, and we respected that, but you don't clear the stage with these niggas. Like, what the fuck? So these niggas are standing there watching Smurf confronting the bouncer. So the bouncer nigga, another one came over there. Another one of the bouncers came over. He was like, yo, hold on for a second. Yo, Smurf, let me holler at you. So at first Smurf was like, what? Get off me. Because he like touched him on the arm. Smurf was like, what? Get the fuck off me. Like, fuck that shit. So he was like, nah, not on no bullshit. Like, let me holler at you for a second. So he pulled Smurf to the side, and Smurf started talking to him. He was like, yo, you got a reputation right now, and it's a fucked up one. But you also got a lot of people that fucks with you. You know, y'all putting out fire, y'all got good music and whatnot. And that's why a lot of people want to do shit with you, but it's because of shit like this why you ain't getting booked at a lot of spots. He was like, you just got to learn what battles to fight. This shit ain't worth it. You got a lot of niggas that want to act stupid because you are who you are. And he was like, my advice, I'm not telling you to do shit. But he was like, my advice is like, let this shit ride. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to act ignorant out here because these niggas is. So Smurf was like, alright, I feel that. And he was like, but yo, I'm dipping. Like, fuck it, we ain't doing shit at the show. So he was like, alright, I respect that. So we start leaving. Like, all of us start mobbing outside. When we go outside, now we first going out. So we was able to dip outside, go to the cars and get the hammers. Because Smurf was like, we ain't going nowhere though. We going outside. We gonna stand out here. So we went outside and stood across the street. So we hammered up now. And we standing out there. So all of them niggas from Far Rock started coming out. And really the whole club dipped out. When we left, like the whole club started following out. So now all of these people that was in the club is outside. It's like about 100 niggas out there. And we standing across the street. It's shorties and everything. So what happened was these niggas came out there and we filming this whole shit. Like, I had a camera. I had bought a little camera, so I'm filming everything that we done as far as like shows, radio stations, and all that. So we filming this shit. So when all of these niggas came outside, I turned the camera off for a sec because I didn't know how this was about to go. So they came over. They was like, yo, what y'all doing? Y'all doing like a documentary? One of the dudes that had like a level head, he was like, y'all doing a documentary? He was like, yeah. You know, when we drop the album, we dropping the DVD with it. So, you know, yeah, we film all type of shit like this. So the dude was like, hey, I know how it might seem, but we not on no bullshit. You know what I'm saying? We here really supporting y'all niggas. We fuck with y'all music and all of that. You know, we know the reputation y'all got and all that, but we fuck with y'all. It ain't on no bullshit. So I got niggas over here that spit. Do y'all mind us getting on the DVD? Like, y'all want to do a little battle type joint and we get on the DVD? So Damo, Smurf was about to say something, but Damo was like, hell yeah, we can do that. Because Damo, you know, he stayed ready to spit. So anyway, that's what happened. I put the camera back on and these niggas started going back to back, spitting this shit. But they still had some niggas in their crew that was acting a little crazy. So the nigga that was a part of their clique, he hollered at Smurf and told him the same thing. He was like, yo, you got some niggas in here that's acting stupid. I got some niggas in here that's acting stupid. You get your niggas to fall back and I'm gonna get my niggas to fall back. And he was like, and we just gonna do this music thing. So that's what he did. He hollered at his niggas and we hollered at our peoples. Like, yo, y'all niggas chill, da-da-da-da. So Nervous was one of the niggas. Nervous was smoking a cigarette. And he was standing right next to one of the dudes from the Bar Rock Cats from Edgemere. So when he's smoking a cigarette, he just blowing the smoke regular. But the smoke was probably going in that dude's direction. So the dude, like, said, hey, yo, can you blow the smoke that way? Because that shit coming right in my face. So Nervous turned and looked at him, took another pull of the cigarette, turned his head right to your boy's face and blew the smoke in his face. Next thing you know, these niggas start going at it like, da 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 da, like thinking like, yo, I told you blow that motherfucking smoke over there, da 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 da. Nervous like, fuck you, nigga, da da da. So it started like getting out of hand for a second until the dude that said, calm your niggas down. He was like, yo, y'all niggas chill the fuck out. Like he just started blacking out. And he grabbed the nigga that was beefing with Nervous and pulled him back, Smurfing and pushed Nervous back. So he was like, yo, are y'all niggas dumb or some shit? They was like, none of us went to the car yet. Anybody go to the car? Anybody go to any of the cars? And he was like, no, none of y'all niggas went to the cars. He was like, so where's our hammers at? All of our shit is still in the car. These niggas came out before us. 9 times out of 10, they already hammered up. Are y'all niggas stupid? And not that that matters because it ain't no bullshit, but y'all niggas sitting here starting the beef that y'all can't win right now. But anyway, he calmed them niggas down and they just started spitting. And that's kind of how that shit ended. And when we left from that shit, Smurf was like, yo, I'm gonna let y'all know something. He was like, cause Smurf, you know, he ran with 50, he ran with the Lost Boys, and both of them, you know, wound up blowing up. That was two people that he fucked with, that he done shows started from the ground with, that blew up. So he said, I'm gonna let y'all know some shit, because I know y'all really probably ain't understand that whole shit. He was like, but how this shit goes, and you gonna see this shit over and over. He said, street niggas is gonna be street niggas no matter where you go. He was like, that's anywhere you go. He said, but you gotta realize street niggas don't know how to come out and just say, I fuck with you. It's love. He was like your boy said in the end, at first the energy they was given to show us that they was gangster too. He was like, but really niggas really fuck with you and they fuck with your music. You just gonna have to see that by them showing you that they're gangster first. He said, so for now on, I just want y'all to take this lesson. Don't feel like you gotta match energy all the time. We know what we doing, we know how we moving, so just keep that in mind. When you see street niggas acting up, if they ain't doing nothing that cross the line, let them niggas be who they are. Because in the end, all they trying to say is, I fuck with you. But they don't know how to say that straight out.
Yeah, sometimes they just trying to say, recognize me, see me.
Exactly.
I'm a real nigga too.
That's exactly what he meant. Because you know Smurf's name was buzzing as far as being a nigga that was putting in all the work for 50. And that's exactly what he was saying. We got the same energy that y'all got. You know what I'm saying? We street niggas too. But in the end, like I said, that shit was all love. That's how that shit really ended. And we had a whole lot of niggas like that fuck with us after that. But I've been trying to get my hands on this DVD because I wound up getting locked up before Damo dropped that album. The album was God Give It, God Take It Away. And the DVD came out with that shit. But I was locked up. So when I came home, I've been trying ever since. I ain't never get no copy. But
you know it definitely came out?
Yeah, that shit dropped. It dropped because I got a copy of the CD when I was locked up. I wound up ordering that shit and getting a copy of the CD when I was locked up, but they didn't give me the DVD. But it was out. Like everybody that saw the shit, like when I was calling home and hollering at people, they was like, yo, you hear your voice through the whole, cause I didn't show my face in the DVD because I was on a run. But I recorded damn near all of that shit out there. So you hear my voice in there, people like, yo, I hear your voice throughout that whole shit. And it's a whole lot of footage, but that battle and all of that shit was on there. That little shit that they done out there, that shit came out lit too. Like, they was going back and forth for a minute. And they, that all of that shit dropped on there. But yeah, it was a lot of crazy ass situations. I remember we met that nigga Sheik Luch. We went out to a studio out there, and we thought that shit was on some setup shit. We went out there with like 4 niggas, and damn, what was they nigga name? Super Mario. You know, he used to do beats and shit for them, their little music and production. So he invited us out here to the studio to do some shit with him. He said he had a beat that he wanted them to get on. So we went out there with him. We went out there to go meet him to do that shit out in the Bronx. Yonkers. And the studio joint that we went in, it was like an old ass factory. So when you went to go to this joint, it looked abandoned from the outside. It didn't look like no factory. And we only went out there with like 4 people. We didn't take no mob. It was like 4 of us that went out there. It was me, Smurf, Domination, and my son. My son went out there with us. And because I remember they had a pit bull in the studio and my son was playing with the pit. But anyway, we was armed up, but like I said, we didn't expect it to be no shit. But when we hit that factory, as dark as that shit was, we thought it was gonna be some shit. So anyway, we saw the little cars outside. That's the only thing that told us that it was people up in there. Some of the cars was like good ass cars, so we knew it had to be like some niggas that had money up in there. But we kept calling the dude, and he was like, yeah, come inside, go to the elevator, and come up to the 4th floor, and when you come upstairs, da-da-da-da. So he was telling us how to get up there, but when we stepped into the building, the lights that was right there in the first part, that shit was out. It was dark as a bitch. And we kept saying this shit. We was like, yo, this shit don't feel right. This shit don't feel right. So we still kept going. We got on the elevator, took that shit up. It was one of them old ass elevators where you gotta close the doors yourself, and then you close the gate, press the button, and that shit'll take you up. So we get up there and we get to the floor, the 4th floor. All of the lights on that floor is out. Like, it's dark as a bitch. So we walk out there, we calling the dude, and he was like, yeah, come around here, but we tripping now for real. We like, nah, this shit gotta be some funny shit, because why he ain't just meet us out here? They know these lights is out and all of that shit. Why he ain't just meet us out here? So we had no right where to go, but he guided us to the door. We went there, got to the door, and went in. But yeah, they had a nice little studio. He done some shit there, and ain't nothing happened, but we thought that was on some setup shit. A few times we done like events like that we thought was some crazy shit.
Wow,
but it ain't nothing pop up.
Niggas was thinking it was a setup because of the beef that fit with 50 that was going on?
Yeah, you know, 50, he was powerful at that time. His name was popping. It was like right when he was at the height of his career with all of that shit that he had going on. So we didn't know who he don't link with, who he was cool with, who fucked with him, that, you know, would have helped him with his agenda, because he was definitely trying to get at, he was definitely trying to, you know, let Smurf and them know, like, I'm not feeling y'all niggas trying to do your own thing. So he, we thought that could have been another one of the spots that he tried to line us up in. But like I said, in the end, ain't nothing really jump about that. We went out to Connecticut. We shot film out there. You know what I'm saying? We done clubs out there. We done radio out there. Yeah, I definitely enjoyed the time I chilled with them niggas. And a lot of crazy shit happened, but you know what I'm saying? A lot of that shit is off record. But it was cool. I remember 50 came to the video shoot. I don't know if you heard about that, but when we were shooting that video for We'll Lose, he was fucking with Fredro Starr. And we were shooting that shit out there on Gaillard Brewer. And 50 came out there. And we was inside, like, it was cold as a bitch. It was snowing this day. It was freezing out there. So we went inside the trailer. Damn, what's the nigga name that shot the video? He's a known nigga. He done a lot of videos for a lot of people. Damn, his name not popping in my head right now, but I'll think of it. But anyway, he the one who shot the video. So he had a little
Zodiac
trailer.
Fish Grease?
Fish Grease.
Now,
That's
how the
what
fuck? Ask me how I knew that.
I was about to say that. How the hell did you know that? You must have
bro.
saw the video.
Nah, bro, I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what it is. And I mean, mind.tech thought, but it's like
Definitely. It was Zodiac.
I thought Queens, and I know Sun filmed a lot of Queens videos.
my other man fucked with him too. My nigga Lotto, he fucked with him too. And so I went to his crib with Lotto. I met him through Lotto first, but he shot that video for them. Yep. So he had a little like a Winnebago joint. So we went in there to try to warm up. And while we in there, True comes in there and was like, yo, 50 here. So niggas was like, what? So we all jump up to get ready. He was like, yo, the nigga rolled around. He said he rolled through the block. 50 rolled the window down. You know, they had the bulletproof joint, so he only could roll it down but so far. But he hollered at True, and he was like, yo, y'all niggas need to get the fuck out of here. We're about to air this shit out. So True came in there and told us. So we like, what? I had a big 3 pound on me. I pulled that bitch out and went outside. So we all went outside to the right in front of the store, right where we were shooting the video at. We was like, where this nigga at? So while we standing there, this nigga come back around the block, and he in the they in Suburbans. It's like 2 or 3 Suburbans. Banks was there too. So these niggas pull up in the Suburbans and they get out. So when 50 get out, he comes walking to the curb. And Banks opened the back door, but he stood there. He didn't walk towards the curb or nothing. He just standing there like with the door in front of him, because Banks know how Smurf give it up. And from what Smurf is hearing, it's supposed to have been on site. Like 50, you know, he was making songs and all that, talking about what he was going to do when he see him. So Smurf, I guess Banks was thinking, yeah, this shit is on site. But we standing there just watching, and 50 come walking towards the curb. As soon as he like put his foot up, it was like a little snow pile there. As soon as he put his foot up on that joint, like he was about to come and holler, but I don't know what he was about to come do. Niggas just started wilding, like screaming, "Gorilla Gang, fuck G-Unit," and niggas just started throwing bottles and all type of shit. So they had some like CIA niggas with them. You know, the security that M had, that's who 50 was moving with at that time. All of these niggas just started coming out there and grabbing niggas up. And they grabbed 50 up and like, yo, 50 just standing there though, like he wasn't shook or no shit like that. He just standing there looking, like the look on his face is like, what the fuck? So the security nigga grabbed him and like pushed 50 back, and 50 just like shook his head and walked back to the car and got in. And them niggas pulled off and shit. And as they was pulling off, niggas was still throwing shit and all of that wilding. So Smurf was like, yeah, this nigga thought he was going da-da-da this and that. And I'm like, nah, Smurf, let me holler at you for a minute on some real shit. And he was like, yo, what's up, sir? So I was like, yo, what do you think that nigga came out here for? I said, just think for a second. He was like, I don't give a fuck what that nigga came for, this and that. Like he thought he was going to do something to me. I said, nah, nigga, that nigga didn't come out here for that. I said, you gotta remember, this nigga's a multi-million-dollar nigga. If he wanted something done to you, this shit would've got shot up without him ever touching Queens. You know what I'm saying? I was like, this nigga would have been somewhere in Hollywood, Florida, wherever the fuck he was at, but his name would have never got associated with this shit getting shot up. Whether you knew it or not, he didn't give a fuck whether you knew it or not. All that would have been heard from everywhere. Anybody that know this situation would have been like, oh, Smurf in a video shoot got shot up. I said, this nigga showing his face here, he wasn't coming to shoot the video shoot up. But he said that shit the truth. I said, I don't give a fuck what he said the truth. That's not what he came for. But I understand what you're saying. I said, but think about it. That nigga did not come here for that. He came here to really see if your head was in the right place now. And you was still, either you was still on that, like, I'm moving off of my street energy, or you was able to think through shit now. 50's a chess player. I said, so him coming out here, $1 million nigga showing up at your video shoot. I turned to the niggas that had cameras. I said, anybody get this shit on camera? Anybody? Did anybody think to click a film and film this shit? And they was like, nah, nigga, we wasn't even thinking on those type terms. So I'm like, y'all just missed $1 million nigga pulling up at your video shoot, which y'all could have entered that shit into the video, even if y'all done it in the rowdy way that y'all did, through bottles and all. That shit was going to be gold in the video. I said, but actually, this nigga probably came out here, Smurf, to snatch your ass back up and to bring y'all back under the G-Unit wing. I said, that's the only thing that makes sense. I said, because anything else, like I said, this nigga's not showing his face if he coming to shoot this shit up. If this nigga was coming on some bullshit, he would have sent niggas through here. You know this already. I said, that's why, I said, did you see how he was looking when the security niggas got out and told him, come on? I said, he was looking at you like, what the fuck? Like, nigga, is you stupid? Like, think for 1 second. I said, I can see it in his face. That's the type of time he was thinking on, like, you still ain't learned shit. But at the end, Smurf saw what I was saying, and he understood that shit. He was like, yeah, sir, you gotta be right. Like, you right. I know you right. He was like, but all that shit that nigga was saying, I was mad. And I was like, in this game, when you doing shit that you trying to get to the next level, you can't let your emotions, you can't let your anger fuck with that. You gotta be able to think on your toes. You gotta be able to think through shit. And I was like, it only took me a second to see the way his face looked. When he got out that car and he walked to the curb, I knew this nigga was coming over to be like, what up, Smurf? And to feel the energy out. But in the end, if Smurf would have been like, Fifth, what's good, this and that, he would have stayed at that video shoot, and Bang'em and Domination name would have been worldwide right now. Like, now we got niggas that know about him, that know about industry shit, underground shit, but they name never really touched like that. You know what I'm saying? But him coming that day was definitely like the olive branch to the bullshit. And
so that was before shit got real hot and hectic.
Nah, that was they was beefing at this time. They was definitely going back and forth. This was after Smurf made the video on the roof of the mall where he was telling the whole story about 50 and all of that shit, about how 50 told him that, you know what I'm saying, I'm like God to y'all niggas. You know, God giveth, God taketh away. That's why he named the album that. Because 50 said that shit to him. And he was like, that shit hurt his heart. Out of all the shit he could have said to him, he said, this nigga told me he like God to me. And that's what made Smurf go so hard to push that music. Like, Smurf is a good ass dude. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's a good ass dude. And he do shit from his heart. If he fuck with you, he fuck with you. Ain't no in between to that. It ain't no, like, this nigga will put his life on the line and die if he fuck with you. That's the energy he move off of. If he don't fuck with you though, he move with that same energy, but in the opposite direction. So he fucked with 50. Like, this nigga done so much shit for this nigga, and as far as like street shit, clearing his name in the streets to where he was handling a whole lot of shit for this nigga, and that shit just fucked him up, how that whole situation played out. That bothered him. So everything that he done after that, like all them groundwork CDs and all that shit he was dropping, he just wanted to show this nigga like, I'm in the hood, but I'm not thinking hood. I still can do shit and get myself out of this situation. And that shit was happening, man. It's just so fucked up that he wound up catching that gun charge and he got locked up and had to do that time. Then when he done that time and came home, they deported him. Because, you know, he originally from Jamaica.
I think he from Trinidad, right?
Yeah, Trinidad, my bad. Yeah, he originally from Trinidad, but that's my nigga. Like, I fuck with Smurf. Right now, we ain't speaking a little bit, but that's still my nigga, whether we talking or not, you know what I'm saying? Like, when I came home after my little bit, we linked up. Not linked up, but, you know, we communicated, we talked, you know what I'm saying? We hollered. But, yeah, like, Smurf is a good-ass dude. And anybody that know that nigga, like, know him, not just heard of him, that know him will tell you the same shit. That nigga got a heart of gold. And he'll do anything for anybody. But if it turns to where he don't feel that same way no more, he got that same energy on the negative side. And he don't, like, lessen that impact. So, yeah, when I was gone, that nigga held my son down and all that shit. Like, he told me, when I got locked up, I said, yo, Smurf, hold my son down. Like, make sure he good. And he took that shit serious. Like, he was on my son's ass, kept him in the studio, kept him out the streets, making his ass go to school. If he got wind that he was somewhere, he had niggas looking out for my son. If he got wind that he was somewhere he wasn't supposed to be, that nigga hopped in the car and went and got that nigga. Like, nah, get your ass over here. Your pops told me to hold you down, and I'ma do that. So, yeah, that was my nigga. And to this day, it's still all love. I still love that nigga. Like, he my brother. And I just wish that whole shit could have went different, because he definitely had the energy to blow. I fucked with Damo when I came home too. Like, I was out in BA and he used to come out to the studio and shit. They done songs and all that shit together. But yeah, man, Damo should be home soon. Damo locked up right now for a body. But yeah, he should be home soon.